Hello everyone and welcome. Today I am popping in. This has just landed on my doorstep and I'm really excited to show you what is inside this box. You can see I haven't even opened it at all, and it's the month by month album retreat for 2025 that Stampin' Up are doing. And this is their first album retreat and it's very much based on a similar format to Close to My Heart. So you get this fabulous box. I actually really love this stamp on the back. I would use a stamp like this on a scrapbook layout, just something I noticed with the packaging. So I'm going to open this up on camera with you and talk about what the album retreat entails for those of you that have not done one before with Close to My Heart and are wondering about it, and you may have looked. I'm just going to pause for a moment while I open this up because it's going to make a bit of noise. Okay, and you may have looked online that it is quite a high price point, but I'm going to show you what is in this box because I have seen images online. It's available to order right now. You can look at what all of the layouts are and check it out for yourself, and you get some exclusive product in here. I'm very excited about the stamp sets and I'm going to show you those and everything else that is contained in here. You can see it's very well packaged, so nothing is going to go astray. I'm going to bring this one out straight away to show you, and then I'll unpack the rest of the box on camera with you as well. So just to explain a little bit about Album Retreat, it is an online only event. So you are able to do this Album Retreat in the comfort of your own home, or you can get together with some friends and do it together. It will be held in a private Facebook group, and the only way that you will be able to have access to that is if you buy the Album Retreat box. Now, for those of us in South Pacific, the event is going to be held from the 17th to the 19th of July, and Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is my time zone, it will be run from 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So what that means is that every morning during these dates, the Stampin' Up team will be coming on live to do a layout at a time, and it will be streamed straight to Facebook. So it's like having them in your own room telling you step by step on how to put each layout together. The good news about this is you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. to watch it, or if you're over in Western Australia, it would be even earlier than that. I'm trying to think what the difference of the time zone is right now. I think it's a couple of hours, so it could be from 4 a.m. But 6 a.m. is way too early for me to get up and start crafting straight away. So I will be watching these at a later time because you will be able to access these at a later time. Yes, it's a high price point, but I think after you've seen what I'm going to show you today, you'll agree that it is definitely worth it. And you can even go and look online closer up at what the layouts are that you'll be creating. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to adapt the layouts to suit your own style, because you can see there's some floral elements in there. I'm going to open some of these packets and I'm going to show you in this video. I will have a link to everything that you need in the description below, but I love that you're able to do things at your own pace because you can always pause the video, do the technique that they're showing, and you can also rewind it so you can watch it again if you haven't quite caught what they've said. So this is the thing I know most of you are interested about, and I'm going to show you those in a moment. So let me just set this aside. You can see we have flip flaps. So straight away I know there's going to be some interactive elements for some of these layouts, and you can't see that when you're looking at the actual photos here. So they will be going through how to attach the flip flaps. If you're interested in flip flaps, I have a playlist on my channel. I'll put a link to that below as well, just so you can see how I adhere them to my projects. There's some white twine here. I love the neutral dots. Now I'm just going to open this because even though these have been out for a little while with the Botanical Textures range, they've got some of my favourite colours, which are white and black, and this is like a very vanilla and sort of a bit of a mix between crumb cake and pecan pie, probably more pecan pie for that one. And you get all your photo holders. So if you don't have photos to put directly onto your layouts, you can put these photo placeholders there so you know what size to put here. Now, quite often what I do with these is I use them anyway, and I'll just point it out with this one. This one here has a blue mat around it. I'll put my 6x4 photo mat on top of that, and then I'll trim down my photo slightly so I will have a white mat next to the photo, and then the blue will still show as well. So you can see there's quite a lot of photo holders here for this album, and the theme of the album is month by month. So what we're doing is, and you also saw it when I was showing you this, a double page spread for each month if that's how you want to do the pages. One thing I want to mention straight away, because we're in the southern hemisphere here, January is a winter theme. I can easily swap that over to August and make August my January pages, and all I need to do is swap these titles over here. So I would put January on this sunburst element here, and I would put August on this element here because it's more cooler colors and this has a more summer vibe. So it's easy to swap the layouts around to suit whatever season you're in. And also the other thing I want to mention is when you're putting your photos on to this layout, it doesn't have to be all from just one event. It can be a series of your favorite photos from one particular month. So you can see in June here, this is not necessarily the same day that all these photos have been taken. So it's a really great way if you're getting into scrapbooking, or if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by how many photos that you have, you can use a month by month type theme like this is to get that album scrapbooked, and you can always add in additional pages if you want to. Both my son and my daughter are born in June, so I'm thinking I would do June with all the series of photos taken throughout the month, and then I would insert another double page spread just to include the special birthday pics from both of their birthdays. And it doesn't have to be for 2025. I can go back and do this for 2024. I can prep it ready for 2026. I can do all the way up to the end of June if I want to for this year, and then I've got my layouts all ready to go for the rest of the year. So let's get into the stamp sets. There are 4 exclusive stamp sets in this set. I'm just going to sort them out. Very excited about the fact that there is an alphabet stamp set, and it comes with numbers as well. And if you're wondering about storage for these, because Stampin' Up! Have the DVD type cases, they actually give you the printed out piece here that will easily insert into a DVD case. And you can order these same ones online from my website. So I will put a link to that as well. So I'm able to insert that into a DVD case and have all my storage exactly the same way. So you can see when this is printed, the letters are a little bit larger. If I turn this over, it's the same as what they do on the inside of the DVD case here. It's printed here, so you know when you're putting your stamp images back on that you've got everything you need and you're not missing anything, like I am with this one. I'm missing a double heart stamp already, and this one's brand new. So it's somewhere down on the floor and I just can't find it anywhere. But this is always handy to have, and they've provided that so you are able to insert this into a DVD case and you get a double stamp set in this one set. These images here, I think, are spots for you to be able to stamp little words and things like that. So I'm going to bring in the other one and show you. And another thing that's interesting to note with this one has 81 stamp images. This one has 44. That's a lot of images. So when you're looking at this album retreat, this is something to keep in mind, and it is exclusive. When you buy album retreat, it's the only way you're going to get this stamp set. And these are reusable, not just for this one project. I'm going to be able to use this alphabet on so many different projects, as well as the icons and the words that are on this one as well. So I'm just going to turn this back over. I know it's back to front, but you get the idea of what is there. Let me turn that around. So I'm going to turn this one over as well. You can see this will fit exactly on here, so it's easy to keep track of all the little elements that you have. So I'm going to go back to the front page here. We've got the seasons. We've got seasonal icons here, lots of little word elements here that you know I love doing word strips and things like that on my layouts. Cute little splatter stamp, some little border stamp images that we can use. And if this album retreat runs exactly like Close to My Heart used to do it, you will use every one of these stamps. So there's lots here. Oh, I love this little arrow with the 3 little dots. That I'm going to use again and again. And this arrow here with the little dots as well. The attention to detail in these album retreat boxes and the images that you get is second to none. So I'm going to just put these with that, and I need to order myself some of the DVD cases so that I can keep this all together and have this nice handy reference on the front and also on the spine as to what is enclosed within this. Loving the stamp sets. It's basically what sold me on Album Retreat. Usually with Close to My Heart, we always got an exclusive alphabet stamp, and this is a size that you can use for card making as well. So it's very, very versatile. So I'm just going to put this aside and then bring in the other contents. Okay, so I've just picked out a few items here from the top of the box. These are the memory protectors that you get. These are top-loading memory protectors, and they will fit both D-ring and post-bound albums. You do not get an album cover with this for probably two reasons. I found that people either like using D-ring or post-bound. They don't generally use both, so it would be hard to know what people would like. The other reason is that it will also put the price point up quite considerably, and you might decide to include these layouts within other album projects that you've got going on because it's like a summary for each month. So you get all the memory protectors you need to complete this. These are some die cut pieces. So these are, I can feel already they are like on a chipboard. So you get the months for each of them, a little tab and some hearts. I'm just going to take out May because it's all in one piece. You can see how gorgeous that is. It's with a solid core, so there is no white on this at all. And I really love how this looks. So they're very easy to punch out. There really isn't any of those little sort of tick sort of marks that you get. I'm just going to put that back in there so I can slide it back into the packet here. And black is such a universal color, and everyone who knows me, they know that I love doing black for my titles. Now we also get some die cut pieces. These are out of paper, and if you flip those over, you will see that it will have the project number on the back of each piece. So it's very easy to sort. So if I look at this project 8, that's going to be for August. There is going to be a downloadable instruction sheet for this as well. If you can't watch the videos for some reason, there'll be a handout that's going to be available as well for this. But you can see with August, these are all the circle elements. So project 8 reflects the month, and you're going to keep this square piece here as well because that goes around the outside of the pieces that are layered underneath, and you've got all of the circles there. So that goes with that month, and I'm just going to flip through these so you can see very quickly. This goes with project 10, so that will be for October, and that's interesting. These are double-sided. So with this one here, you can see there's little folded down elements. So the solid color is on one side and the pattern comes down on the other. That's very clever. I'm not going to do these layouts before time though. I'm going to wait until the videos start because I know there's going to be little techniques like this one here that I'm going to need to pay attention for by watching the video. So you can see this is project 10 as well. This is a whole lot of die cut pieces with some leaves, some numbers, and they're all labeled as well. So the hearts here are labeled as project 2. So that would be for February. So the attention to detail is exactly the same as what we had with Close to My Heart. Now here's another die cut sheet. Let me just get this out. I don't think this will have labeling on it. And these I think are all for stamping. So you can see there's that banner piece. I'm just going to bring the stamp set in. So there's my banner piece here that will stamp directly onto the banners here, and then I'm assuming we'll be stamping with either the alphabet dies or maybe even some of these winter, summer, spring or something like that within that little scroll piece that we've got here. You can see we've got clouds down here. If I put this around the right way, let me see. There we go. That will fit within that image there. So these are all laser cut, and there are two sheets of them. Maybe there's 3. Nope, there's 2. And here's the rainbow. That's such a cute rainbow. I love the little scalloped edge to it. So you'll be able to stamp the rainbow element in here. And this is the good part about watching the videos when you do this, or if they have the instructions, it will all be labeled. You will know exactly which piece goes with which layout. So this is going to be a whole lot of fun I love all these little icons, and this is another reason why I have done album retreat in the past. All of these little icons I know I can use across a whole range of projects. There's a lot of stamping, and that's just going to add a great personal touch to your projects. This one aside, and I'll put these away, and we'll move on to the next thing. And this has got some irresistibles. So this one isn't a Ziploc bag, so I'll just open this. These are a whole lot of fun to use with your ink blending brushes. So when you blend the ink onto these, the embossed sort of part, or the shiny part as it were, will resist the ink, and the ink will stay on the pieces that haven't been treated. So this is a half sunburst. So I can just see by the photo here, that's going to go here with May. So we are going to ink that up with some yellow ink. And there is a list of additional supplies on the website as well. They will suggest the colours, but if you already have a colour, this might be the new Darling Duckling, but I have Daffodil Delight. So I may use Daffodil Delight instead of having the exact colour here. You don't have to have absolutely everything that is required. You can adapt with what you already have on hand. Here's another sunburst piece, and this one has got some beautiful leaves. I don't know if that's picking up on camera at all. Probably not, but you'll see the design. There's actually some fine lines within the leaves here. So that is going to be a whole lot of fun to create with. So I'm just going to slide these back in. I'm going to put everything back into its plastic bags, even though I sort of want to start playing with it now. But I am going to wait until July, until the videos air, so that I know I can follow along with the instructions and the technique, so I know what ink blending I'm doing. And if there's any little interactive pieces like these little pockets here, I'm already looking at this and thinking I might add something more to this. I might do some more ink blending in the background. I may not make all the pages exactly as they have them here. So let me just put this on top of there to protect those die cuts a little bit. And now I'm going to get into how these actual pages are packaged. So we've got all of the projects here. They're all individually bagged and they're all labelled. So project 1 will be for January. So as I'm looking at January here, I can see that I've got all of these elements here already cut, ready to go. Plus I need to put in some die cut pieces and do some stamping. And usually with Album Retreat, that is all done within the video so that you can get everything out that you need and get prepared at the beginning of the video, and then they go through all of the steps. If you want to be ultra prepared, you could punch out the January and put that in here so you know it's for January, or any of these die cut pieces that have a label on them, you could punch those out and put them in your bag. But sometimes it's better just to follow along with the video and do it as they're doing it as well, because they will go into that sort of detail so you can create the pages as per the instructions and how they're designed. So I'm just having a little look at this pocket piece here. I'm just going to open this one. Normally I would say don't open anything until you're ready to make things. But I just want to have a look at this piece of paper because it is a pink tone. If I turn it over, it's white on the other side. It's not necessarily reversible, but if I wanted to do this as a different color, I can just measure it up. It's 3.5 by 5 1/4, so it's not an odd shape at all. And I could cut another piece of pattern paper to use instead of this one, or I could get a background stamp and I could stamp over this if I didn't want this pinky purple tone. So it is flexible enough for you to be able to flip things over and make your own pattern, or you could do ink blending on this to create a different hue to it. So that's project 1. Project 2 here. This will be for February, so there's a lot of strips with this one. I love this design. You could do stamping on this if you wanted to tone down the colours a little bit more, but the larger colours here have photos on them. So when you put your photo placeholders and then your photo on, it will tone that down. So if you're looking at this and thinking that you don't particularly love that colour, imagine once you have your photo mat on there, and this is two-tone cardstock, so that's good to know as well. So you don't have to use the brighter side if you don't want to. So I can put my photo placeholder on here and then my photo, and this will tone down the bright colour. So when you're looking at this and thinking, oh, I could not work with this colour, you can substitute it by cutting a 4.5, and I would say it's by 6.5 piece, with another color or stamping on it to tone the color somewhat. But I love how this looks in the end result. So I'm going to be making my decisions as I make these pages and follow along with the videos. Project 3 has some florals in here because March for over in North America is obviously spring, and this is a one-sided paper. So I did think that this was going to be a double-sided paper because this is from Lovely Garden, I think, and I thought it might have the other paper on the other side or the other color on the side. So if you don't want to use the florals, you can change it for another piece. This is a 3 by 3 inch square. This will be 3 inch by 5 inches. But I quite love how this looks, and they are little small elements that are going to bring in the colors from your photos. It's quite amazing really that when you do pre-prepared pages that have been designed in a certain way with this sort of pattern, that it does bring in colors from your photos, even though you may not have picked the papers to suit the actual photos that you're scrapbooking. So project 4, we've got April. I'm not going to open every single one. May, June, because this is 6, so it's all in order in the box. I love these designs. Which one's this one? 7 is July. I love this design. So this is something else that you can look at when you're doing album retreat like this and you've got 12 layouts. You can look at a design like this and make it again in totally different papers from what you have in your own supplies. You can make this page and think, I really like how this looks. I'm going to make this layout again for another album. So it's a resource as well as a fun hands-on thing to make with the instructors helping you along the way. This one's quite weighty. So this one's September. So that's got full sheets for the base pages. Then it's got white for these pages here, or it could be very vanilla. And then you've got all the squares. I can see this one here has some flip flaps because there's a little bit of a shadow there. And in the videos, they will show you how to attach them and everything will be explained. So we've got October, November and December. I really love December. I think there's a little bit of ink blending going on with this one. So there's lots of techniques that they will be teaching you along the way. So that's what's inside the album retreat box. So if you have been looking at it, because this went live last week to order, if you've been looking at it and you wanted a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown of what is actually in this, I hope this video has helped. For me, when it comes to alphabet stamps and all the little icons, that's what I look at most when I'm looking at purchasing an album retreat. And I'm really hoping that this will be the first of many that Stampin' Up! Will do, because they are a whole lot of fun to put together. And I love learning new things and sometimes adapting the pages to suit my own needs. Sometimes I don't put the photo placeholders on there straight away. I might do all the construction, but leave the photo mats off until I have printed my photos. But I know with these layouts that I can always add more photos with flip flaps and things like this, because this one in September might only show that you have 3 photos on a double page spread, but we're going to be using flip flaps to put more photos underneath there. So there's going to be a whole lot of techniques, a whole lot of fun. So I can't wait for the 17th of July to come around so I can start creating with this. It is during the week, so if you work during the week, as I said before, you can wait until the weekend to do the scrapbooking, or you can wait until the following month. And the only way that you have access to the videos and to all the instructions and the techniques that will be shown is by purchasing this album retreat. So I hope some of you are now convinced and will join on what I think is going to be a wonderful event. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.